When chaos erupted on the streets of New Orleans, it was more than just the screech of tires that caught everyone's attention. An Army veteran, driven by a dark determination, transformed a seemingly ordinary day into a nightmare by plowing his massive 6,000-pound pickup truck into a joyous crowd. The scene of devastation that unfolded wasn't isolated. Instead, it formed part of a disturbing pattern. We've seen how vehicles meant to transport us are weaponized to harm civilians. Over the last few years, the instances of vehicle attacks have crept into the headlines, becoming alarmingly common. The motives stretch across a grim spectrum. While many of these attacks are spurred by twisted radical ideologies, others stem from the hands of racists or far-right extremists intent on spreading terror. But what fuels these attackers to choose vehicles over firearms or explosives? To find answers, let's delve into the motives behind some of these recent, deadliest attacks. In New Orleans, the FBI is piecing together the story of the attacker. This wasn't just any man. He was a former Army human resource specialist who bore the experience of Afghanistan's frontline. Shamsuddin Jabbar, with an ISIS flag billowing on his truck, left a trail of horror before meeting his end at the hands of police. Looming large in this tale is Jabbar's own recorded messages, where he talked about his life spiraling post-divorce and his subsequent allegiance to ISIS. He confessed how his initial plans of murdering his own family took a backseat. His ultimate goal: to make headlines that screamed of the stark divide in the world he saw between believers and non-believers. If you delve into the history of vehicle attacks, radical Islamist terror organizations have long touted vehicles as weapons. A 2010 article from Al-Qaeda's branch in Yemen even dubbed it the ultimate mowing machine, advocating for large, powerful pickup trucks as ideal instruments of mass destruction. It's chilling how such rhetoric can stir actions across time and distance. Fast forward to 2014, and ISIS was openly encouraging attacks on non-believers, imploring their followers to use cars to run them over if necessary. As CNN's national security analyst Peter Bergen succinctly puts it, a vehicle attack requires no special training whatsoever. It's as simple as renting or buying a vehicle and using it with malicious intent. After each of these attacks, the terrifying aftermath, the covered lifeless bodies, the debris of lives left behind, public spaces shattered, feeds directly into the goals of these attackers. It spreads a palpable fear about venturing into crowded spaces, setting off ripples of terror. But these attacks aren't just targeting festive crowds. Everyday people have been victims too. Let's take a walk back through memory lane and revisit some of the most harrowing vehicle attacks in recent history. One such grim milestone was December 20th, 2024, when a car smashed into a bustling Christmas market. The death toll? 5 lives were lost, with over 200 injured. The alleged perpetrator? Talib al-Abdulmohsen, a psychiatrist embroiled in mysterious motives. His cryptic social media post hinted at his own demise as a means to bring justice, but the authorities are still yet to unearth the full truth. Dial back time to November 21st, 2021. An SUV veered into a Christmas parade, obliterating holiday cheer in a shocking instant of brutality. The assailant, Darrell E. Brooks, attempted to cast doubt over his intent, suggesting mechanical failure as a cause. However, his conviction on multiple counts tells another story of rage, denial, and consequence. Then there was the heartbreaking day of October 31st, when Sayfullo Saipov took to a bicycle path in a rented truck. His attack in New York, inspired by ISIS propaganda, left the city shaken. Saipov's own admissions underscore a disturbing influence of extremism that transcends borders and speaks volumes of the power of radical imagery. In yet another instance, a van barreled through the iconic Las Ramblas in Barcelona on August 17, 2017, leaving a trail of destruction. 14 lives were snuffed out, changing the vibrant, tourist-filled stretch into a scene of horror. Consider August 12, 2017. Charlottesville witnessed a menacing act, driven by hate when a white nationalist ran his vehicle into counter-protesters, a senseless act of violence born from an ideology of supremacy. London Bridge 2 became a site of terror on June 3, 2017, when coordinated attackers merged vehicular assault with a stabbing spree. Their reign of terror ended only when law enforcement intervened with lethal force. In Sweden, a stolen truck was used by an attacker with sympathies toward extremist ideologies to sow fear and chaos in April 2017. This attack illustrated how easily accessible tools can devastatingly impact community life. Shifts to Jerusalem, where an assault on soldiers turned the peaceful promenade into a scene of carnage in January 2017. It's suspected that the attacker was inspired by the same extremist groups that instigate with their rhetoric, but offer no answers when lives are lost. The heart of Berlin was pierced in December 2016, when a heavy truck rammed through a Christmas market, perpetrated by a suspect pledging allegiance to ISIS. The tragedy was not just felt in Germany but reverberated around the world. Ohio State University was thrust into the spotlight when a student attacked fellow students in a spree of vehicular and knife violence late in 2016. His actions, inspired by radical propaganda, highlight the dangerous impact of extremist messaging. Finally, July 2016 saw the haunting Bastille Day attack in Nice, a tragic event that claimed 84 lives. Here, a truck was used again, this time to mar the joy of France's National Day in a chilling reminder of how quickly joy can turn to sorrow. Each of these events paints a picture, not of isolated individuals, but of a broader narrative drawing fuel from radical ideologies, hatred, and often mental despair. As we end this recount of the terror incited from behind the wheel, it's crucial to remember that these stories are still unfolding. Investigations are ongoing, and the quest for understanding motives and preventing future attacks continues. So while this chapter closes, stay tuned, as this is not the final note in the battles against such terror.